Today I have 3 beautiful spring decor ideas for you. Welcome to the Chic Show. Today's playlist is hosted by Shabby Meets Bling, Up All Night DIY, and Jody at Southern Seasons. I thrifted these little wood rounds, and I'm going to be painting over the front of this one with Waverly chalk paint and plaster. Once that's done, I'm going to be mixing together these 2 milk paints to make more of a bird's egg blue. I did mix it a bit thick because I was hoping that I would get a lot of cracks and crackles. Although I didn't get all of those crackles that I was hoping for, I did have kind of a textured look and was able to sand that back to give it more of an aged look. I sanded around the edges and then sanded over the top, and some of those thicker places rubbed away so that I could see that plaster paint underneath. Chose to use this bird's nest from IOD's Petiche stamp set. I also used some air dry clay in a little bird mold that I got from Amazon, and I'm going to paint that little bird with that same plaster chalk paint. I drilled a hole in the top of the wood round, and I made a little bow and hanger for it using jute twine and some of this ribbon from Dollar Tree. I tied knots in all the right places so that my twine wouldn't move around. Light Bond Quick and Thick is the glue that I chose to attach the bird to the nest. This would make a perfect little gift tag or even just a little decoration to hang from your lamp, as I have done here. Just like I am, sharp as I am, making me stronger, calling me higher. When we come together, just like I am, sharp as I am, making me stronger. For project number 2, I'm using some of IOD's Spring Melody paint inlays. I chose a flower that would fit onto this book that I thrifted. I painted the book with plaster chalk paint by Waverly, and then once it was dry, I gave it another coat because the paint inlay has to be applied to wet paint. While that paint is still wet, I misted the paint inlay, and then I laid it carefully on the front of the book. You do want this to completely dry, and I have found that I have better luck with it when I just leave it overnight because we do have pretty humid weather here in the South. While I let that sit, I'm going to go ahead and apply this Gilded Transfer from IOD. Once it's completely dry, you do want to mist it again with that water and then give it another press with a damp cloth and then let it sit about 30 seconds and then you can pull away that backing paper. Perfection is not necessarily the name of the game with paint inlays. As you can see, my transfer didn't transfer completely. My paint inlay didn't transfer completely, which is perfectly fine because it gives it kind of an aged vintage look. Finish this book off, I'm going to apply another Gilded Transfer to the spine. It is best to seal your paint inlay, and it's best to use a spray sealer if possible, so I gave it a quick spray of a clear top coat. And that completes this lovely vintage book. Just like I am,
Sharp and iron, making me stronger, calling me higher. When we come together, it's like iron. Sharp and iron, making me stronger, calling me higher.
For project number 3, I'm going to be using this little wood house that I thrifted and another little bird that I cast with some air dry clay in that same mold from Amazon. I wanted to leave the windows black, so I placed some painter's tape inside and then just used my razor cutter here to cut around the excess tape. I went ahead and painted that house, the bottom part of the house, with plaster chalk paint. Once I finished painting with the plaster chalk paint, I went ahead and pulled off that tape. And I did freshen up the roof of the house with some black ink chalk paint by Waverly. I also drilled a little hole in the door and added a little skewer that I had painted black for the bird to sit on. Now I'm going back with my finger sander and just sanding around all the edges. At first I thought I wanted to leave this little bird white, but I did want to use some black wax to kind of highlight the accents and the details in the bird. So I went over it first with clear wax. Now I'm adding on that black wax, and the clear wax allows me to control that black wax a little bit better. It acts kind of like an eraser so that I can pull back the black. However, I did not care for the look of this bird on the house, so I decided to go back and paint it with some fusion paint in French eggshell. Once the paint was dry, I did go back over it with that black wax and wiped it back so that we could see all the details of the bird. I used super glue wood glue to attach the bird to the house. To personalize this house a little bit more, I decided to use some of IOD's insignia stamps. I chose a little frame and some white ink that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I just placed that onto the roof of the house. And then I used the cursive M for my name and placed that in the center of the wreath. This is the perfect little spring shelf sitter or tiered tray decor piece.
Just like iron, sharp and iron, making me stronger, calling me higher. When we come together, just like iron, sharp and iron, making me stronger.
Let me know down in the comments section what was your favorite project from today. I would love to know. Don't forget to check out our playlist and our host channels in the description box below. If you like this video, be sure and give it a thumbs up. And if you're looking for more inspiration, check out this video right here. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to share the chic. Bye now.